Hey guys, very basic Bible. Quick read, 10 minutes at a time through the nation of northern Israel, the entire history of the nation of northern Israel, from the time that the kingdom of Israel split into two nations. The southern was Judah, the northern was called Israel, until the northern nation, Israel, went to exile. I'm going to read the whole thing. Right now, we're in the middle of a pretty crazy story. I've said that a lot, and I'll say it again. So here we go. 10 minutes on the timer. 2 Kings chapter 9, right here. When Jehu came out to his master's servants, Jehu is an army commander. His master would be the king of Israel. The servants would be the army generals under him. Okay, so when Jehu came out to his master's servants, they asked, "Is everything all right? Why did this crazy person come to you?" Because up here, when the prophet arrived, the army commanders were sitting there. "I have a message for you, commander. For which one of us?" "For you." So Jehu got up and went to the house. The young prophet poured the oil on his head. "I anoint you king over the Lord's people Israel." And look what Jehu says. You know the sort and they're ranting. But they replied, "That's a lie. Tell us." So Jehu said, "He talked to me about this and that and said, 'This is what the Lord says. I anoint you king over Israel.'" Each man quickly took his garment and put it under Jehu on the bare steps. They blew the ram's horn, and proclaimed, "Jehu is king." What is Jehu thinking? He's like, "Dude, guys, come on, stop. You're crazy. Look, I'm not king." Then Jehu, son of Jehoshaphat, son of Nimshi, conspired against Joram. Joram and all Israel had been at Ramoth Gilead on guard against King Hazael of Aram. So Jehoshaphat's the king of Judah. So Jehu, the king of Judah, Joram, king of Israel. Here we go. But King Joram had returned to Jezreel to recover from the wounds that the Arameans had inflicted on him when he fought against Aram's king Hazael. Jehu said, "If you commanders wish to make me king, then don't let anyone escape from the city to go tell about it in Jezreel." So don't let anyone escape to, I'm not sure. We'll keep going. Jehu got into his chariot and went to Jezreel, since Joram was laid up there, and King Ahaziah of Judah had gone down to visit Joram. Okay. So Ahaziah is Jehoshaphat's son. Jehu, son of Jehoshaphat, is Jehu's the ancestor of Jehoshaphat. Probably grandson. I don't recall how many kings between Jehoshaphat and Ahaziah. Okay. So Jehoshaphat, Ahaziah, Jehu. Oh, here we go. Now the watchman was standing on the tower in Jezreel, and he saw Jehu's mob approaching and shouted, "I see a mob." Joram responded, "Choose a rider and send him to meet them and have him ask, 'Do you come in peace?'" So a horseman went to meet Jehu and said, "This is what the king asked. 'Do you come in peace?'" Jehu replied, "What do you have to do with peace? Fall in behind me." The watchman reported, "The messenger reached them, but hasn't started back." So Joram, king of Israel, sent out a second horseman who went to them and said, "This is what the king asks. 'Do you come in peace?'" Joram answered, "What do you have to do with peace? Fall in behind me." And Jehu's commanded. Again, the watchman reported, "He reached them, but hasn't started back either. Also, the driving is like that of Jehu, son of Nimshi. He drives like a madman." "Get the chariot ready," Joram shouted, and they got it ready. Then King Joram of Israel and King Ahaziah of Judah set out, each in his own chariot, and met Jehu at the plot of land of Naboth the Jezreelite. Man, that's where the bad stuff went down. When Joram saw Jehu, he asked, "Do you come in peace, Jehu?" He answered, "What peace can there be, as long as there is so much prostitution and sorcery from your mother Jezebel?" Joram turned around and fled, shouting to Ahaziah, "It's treachery, Ahaziah!" Joram got the picture quick. Then Jehu drew his bow and shot Joram between the shoulders. The arrow went through his heart, and he slumped down in his chariot. Jehu said to Bidkar, his aide, "Pick him up and throw him on the plot of ground belonging to Naboth the Jezreelite. For remember, when you and I were riding side by side behind his father Ahab, and the Lord uttered this pronouncement against him, 'As surely as I saw the blood of Naboth and the blood of his sons yesterday,' this is the Lord's declaration, So will I repay you on this plot of land. This is the Lord's declaration. So now, according to the word of the Lord, pick him up and throw him on the plot of land. I thought Jehu was just an army commander. How does he know all this stuff that the Lord said? I guess it got around. I don't recall this being explicitly stated in the scripture earlier. Somebody must have said it. When King Ahaziah of Judah saw what was happening, he fled up the road toward Beth Hagan. Jehu pursued him, shouting, "Shoot him too!" So they shot him in his chariot at Gur Pass near Ibleam, but he fled to Megiddo and died there. Then his servants carried him to Jerusalem in a chariot and buried him, Ahaziah, in his ancestors' tomb in the city of David. It was in the 11th year of Joram, son of Ahab, that Ahaziah had become king over Judah. When Jehu came to Jezreel, Jezebel heard about it. So she painted her eyes, fixed her hair, and looked down from the window. As Jehu entered the city gate, she said, "Do you come in peace, Zimri, killer of your master?" Zimri was an earlier king of Israel a commander who assassinated, took over, conspired. So she's trying to shame him, I guess. He looked up toward the window and said, "Who is on my side? Who?" 2 or 3 eunuchs looked down at him, and he said, "Throw her down." So they threw her down, and some of her blood splattered on the wall and on the horses, and Jehu rode over her. Yuck, trample. Then he went in, ate and drank. Why not? I just got done killing some people. Let's go have a party. What? I don't know. Maybe he's hungry. Maybe he's famished. I don't know, from killing those people. And said, "Take care of this cursed woman and bury her, since she is a king's daughter." But when they went out to bury her, they did not find anything but the skull, the hand, and the feet and the hands. So they went back and told him, and he said, "This fulfills the Lord's word that he spoke through his servant Elijah the Tishbite. In this plot of land at Jezreel, the dogs will eat Jezebel's flesh. Jezebel's corpse will be like manure on the surface of the ground in the plot of land at Jezreel, so that no one will be able to say, 'This is Jezebel.'" Did Elijah say all that part? I don't know. Maybe he did. Jehu, he's an army commander. Maybe he heard, "Oh, this is what this such and such is what Elijah said." And then he heard some really of what Elijah said. I don't know. People hear all sorts of things. All right. Since Ahab had 70 sons in Samaria, Jehu, who said he was going to destroy the house of Ahab, wrote letters and sent them to Samaria, to the rulers of Jezreel, to the elders, and to the guardians of Ahab's sons, saying, "Your master's sons are with you, and you have chariots, horses, a fortified city, and weaponry. So when this letter arrives, select the most qualified of your master's sons, set him on his father's throne, and fight for your master's house." However, they were terrified and reasoned, "Look, 2 kings could not stand against him. How can we?" So this must be enough time later that word got to them. Of course, right whenever a king dies, probably multiple people flee on horseback as fast as possible, just, through the middle, and tell them, pretty quickly, probably. They don't have text messaging, but, run on horses really fast and tell them. So the overseer of the palace, the overseer of the city, the elders, and the guardians sent a message to Jehu: "We are your servants. We will do whatever you tell us. We will not make anyone king. Do whatever you think is right." Okay. Then Jehu wrote them a second letter saying, "If you are on my side, and if you will obey me, bring me the heads of your master's sons at this time tomorrow at Jezreel." All 70 of the king's sons were being cared for by the city's prominent men. When the letter came to them, this is the second letter? Okay. This is still the letter. When the letter came to them, they, okay. Quote, "If you are on my side and will obey me, bring along the heads of your master's sons and come to me in Jezreel at this time tomorrow," unquote. The 70 princes were in the care of the prominent men. Okay, so okay. When the letter came to them, they took the king's sons and slaughtered all 70, put their heads in baskets. That's good. Put them in a basket. You don't got to carry them by the hair or something. And sent them to Jehu at Jezreel. Maybe the baskets smell nice. When the messenger came and told him they had brought the heads of the king's sons, the king said, "Pile them in 2 heaps at the entrance of the city gate until morning." Come on. They just didn't care about hygiene. The next morning, when he went out and stood at the gate, He said to all the people, "You are innocent. It is I who conspired against my master and killed him. But who struck down all these? Know then that not a word of the Lord spoke against the house of Ahab will fail, for the Lord has done what he promised through his servant Elijah." So Jehu killed all who remained in the house of Ahab in Jezreel, all his great men, his close friends and priests, leaving him no survivors. Then he set out and went to Samaria. On the way, while he was at Beth Eked of the shepherds, Jehu met the relatives of King Ahaziah. Uh-oh. What the heck is going to happen to King Ahaziah? I'm guessing Jehu is going to be like, "You're gone." Maybe not, though. Some stuff I said was like, wait, this guy's king. No, wait, who's king? No, when was the letter? Remember, if you're confused about this, which you probably are, scroll down. Look, just below the video, you'll find all sorts of verse by verse, longer, detailed, explanatory Bible teaching. Okay, those guys will tell you everything you need to know. We will see you next time on the next Very Basic Bible.